Whoa, jingle! Happy time has just begun. Brother, sister, smart, dumb, fun. Yeah!
Your hat.
I know, right?
It's like half Halloween, half steampunk.
Exactly.
I love that.
I got it
video.
at Joann's when there was still a Joann's, etc. Before capital investment destroyed it.
Before it was destroyed by capital equity firms. Private
Yeah.
equity, yay! Private equity, destroying the things we love, one chain at a time. Yay!
Exactly.
I
So
know, yeah, but that, Anne, is lovely.
thank you.
So, yeah, you have brought it for. I did finally bust out my Spooktacular T-shirt,
Nice.
the T-Rex with the bats and the red orange blood moon.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I got that. That's awesome. So yeah,
Good for you.
happy last day of Spooktoberfest, Ann Brothers.
It makes me sad, Jenny, because I love Spooktoberfest so very much.
I know.
But I'm going to talk about in our Smart Dumb Fun things that I got to prepare for next year's Spooktoberfest. So I'm already thinking about it.
Already looking ahead.
Yeah.
Looking ahead. Well, I always believe that November kind of lends itself to stretching a little bit of Spooktoberfest into November with the All Souls Eve and All Saints Day and stuff like that. So,
We have the Dead.
I think that works. That is Day of the Dead, etc., etc. So yeah, so here we are. It is the 26th of October, the last Sunday of October, the last full week of October. By the time the weekends, we will be Halloweening out. It's also Jenny Brothers' birthday week. Let's go.
Also, I do want to mention that next Sunday, Jenny, we're falling back.
We are.
Yeah.
It's early this year. It's like it feels like it's a week early this year. Yeah, so we get an extra hour of weekend next weekend, which is great because Joe and I are actually heading up north next weekend, and we'll talk about that towards the end of the show. And I'm super jazzed about that because me lovey going up north, and so that's birthday weekend this year. So that's good because Joe and I we have a birthday that's 2 days apart. And then we usually do our celebrating of our birthday on the 29th because Joe he has taught us to refer to that as the birth quinox. So, because it's the day in between our birthdays.
Nice. Very nice.
Yes, it is. So, Joe Peters, man of language, man of words, man of letters. So,
exactly.
There we go.
Oh, a man of letters.
I love that. So yeah, so here we are, you guys. We are talking about this is our last day of Spooktoberfest, so we decided to do spooky stories on Spooktoberfest and pair those with spooky cocktails or just cocktails. Now, I'm currently what are you drinking right now, Anne? So I don't know if you can see this. I have this. It's hard to see in the light, but I have a super scary skull cup.
That is very nice.
What you got there, Ann Brothers?
I have a gin drink called The Ghost Story, and it kind of looks, kind of haunting. It's actually gin and elderberry liqueur. I got St. George's, which I guess is like the most recognizable one, and then it has lemon juice and topped off with champagne or prosecco. And I had a bottle of prosecco in the fridge, so this one's topped off with prosecco. So. Let me taste it.
Nice. How very fancy. I went with just a basic old fashioned, and that's because that's what I had ingredient wise. But I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the little twists because one of my drinks is sort of based on that. So I figured my old fashioned was because these are old fashioned ghost timey stories.
Exactly.
Whatever.
So
yeah. That's awesome. All right. So it's been a busy week. Anne, how's your week been?
My week was good. I had a good week. It was fun. Duncan, I'm going to talk about this more during Smart Dumb Fun. We did something Halloween spirit wise on Friday, which was very exciting. And then the beer festival was Saturday, and that's at Eastern Market in Detroit. And so there was not very many costumes this year, unless you count white dude in a baseball cap as a costume. And then seemed like everybody was dressed as white dude in baseball cap.
And they're costumed up as bros. Duh.
Bros. Duh. And you know me, Jenny's
Duh.
been with me. In one of my past lives, I was a carnival barker or a carnival front man because, standing behind a booth waiting for somebody to pick you to drink beer, I don't do that. As soon as I see somebody with an empty glass, I'm like, you, empty glass, come over here. I got beer. It's good. Drink it. It's like, how bad can it be? It's beer. So I have about an 80% success rate doing that. And I'm like the only one. I was like, God, I wish I had been like getting people to come to the hoochie show, So I was like,
because brewers are all like they have this like, I don't care if you drink my beer. I'm an artist. Right. I don't care if you drink my beer. I'm awesome.
Yeah.
This beer's awesome. I don't even care if you drink it. That's the problem when you go to like a beer festival is that they're all like, my beer's awesome. And I don't need you to tell me that. So,
exactly.
But in reality,
too cool for school, Jenny. Fortunately, I'm not, and I'm not a brewer, so I don't have to worry. And I'm just like,
Correct.
and most people respond to it because, it's kind of intimidating. You're at this place with 100 different breweries. Everybody's like, got to stick up their butt because they're either beer experts or they're brewers. So I'm like, hey, if you engage somebody and tell them, come over here, I want to give you beer, and they'll be like, okay, teach me something a little about beer. Yeah.
You seem nice. Yay.
Yeah, exactly. You're not, it's like, hey, why not? When was the last time a woman yelled at you and it wasn't because you didn't take the trash out or, so it's fun. And I always go and, for a couple hours, my goal is to empty 3 kegs of beer. So, it is
that's less beer that you have to load up later. So
exactly.
That makes perfect sense as far as
exactly.
I'm
concerned. So Duncan's like, I know you're pouring a big glass. And I was like, yeah, because the faster it goes.
Faster it goes, the faster we're done.
Hello. And Duncan's always like, they got the name wrong. Oh, I don't want to. I was like, and I'm like, hey, I have no problem answering their questions. And I'm like, sure, why not? It's like we have a 45-second interaction and then you go away. I can be pleasant for 45 seconds.
Good job.
Yeah. Good job. I found it in my review for work that I'm both diligent and delightful. So I'm going to get a shirt that says diligent and delightful, bitch.
I'm a fucking delight.
Exactly. So so that's fun. And it's at Eastern Market in Detroit, which, so the market's going on that day. It's a place with a lot of history, a little few ghosts. You kind of like go around in some of the darker corners. There's a fabulous Mexican restaurant there called Jose's. They do a fried taco.
I like fried tacos.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
Tacos. I like to be fried. Nancy Garman is with us. Yay, Nancy Garman. She's a double D. That is the truth. In more ways than one, Nancy. In more ways than one.
Exactly.
It's going to be like that today, you guys, because Anna and I are both drinking what I would consider to be stronger drinks. So it's going to be just like that today. So, Nancy, thank you for getting the party started. You are the best.
Yeah. I was like, this drink is mostly booze and some lemon juice, so I won't get rickets.
I don't think I have any juice in mine. It's basically just booze. It's bourbon and orange, this really yummy orange liqueur that I get from Wisconsin. Let's go. So good job, Wisconsin. Way to keep us drunk. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Should we dig into this, Ann Brothers?
Do it.
Okay, good. All right. Ooh, that's really tiny. Sorry, everybody. All right, Ann, you want to do the welcome back?
Sure.
Okay, here it is. Oh, there it is. Wait, there it is. Yes, I did it. So
good job.
It's all you. Yeah, I know.
All right. We're Ann and Janice Brothers. We are sisters, and our last name is Brothers. And we are real. And is it real or are we dreaming? It's like, it's real. And you're dreaming. Lucky you. We're in our 50s, Gen X, which means that we did not carve our own jack-o'-lanterns as children. We watched our dad carve our jack-o'-lanterns when we were little. They didn't have all the fun, cute little tools to keep you from hurting yourself. We just had big knives. And so my dad felt that that was unsafe for us. So we just watched our dad.
We might have been able to scrape the goo out of the pumpkins, but Dad wanted those pumpkins like cleaner than a Virgin's honey pot. So as a result of that, and he would, I've never seen a cleaner pumpkin in my life. There's literally nothing left in those pumpkins. They're scraped clean. Like you could use those pumpkins insides for walls of your home because they were that clean. So,
exactly. Yeah. Store your medical tools in it. It was that clean. So
I was trying to think. I was carving it was when I was in college, and I was carving pumpkins with my roommates, and they were like they got done carving them, and I look inside, I'm like, you're not done. That's not clean. It's still ready. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, that's not clean enough. And so, yeah, I totally have picked that up. I do, like my father, like there is not a string in there. There ain't no seeds. There's no goo. There's nothing. It is dry as a bone in that pumpkin.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. It's got to be straight. It's got to be like, it's got to look like vacuumed carpeting,
Correct.
All right, so we like to talk about smart stuff, dumb stuff, fun stuff, or any combination of the three. And we are not cool, hip, or sexy, but we will drink cool, hip, and sexy cocktails because we can't resist cheap booze in an expensive glass.
Absolutely not. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the greatest thing. I always feel like I'm cool when I'm drinking a cool drink. Like, Joe and I went out the other night. We went to Social House afterwards, and that's kind of a cool hip scene, and they have really cool hip drinks. And so I always feel like, even though I was dressed in t-shirt and blue jeans, I felt super cool because I was there drinking a hip and cool drink. So
exactly,
yep.
That's how I feel too.
Yep.
So we are not a true crime, celebrity, or influencer podcast. We are the full-sized candy bars of your podcast. You're excited about it when you get one, but it's gone all too soon. Yeah.
Sad. Even though it's a full size, but at least we were bigger than a fun size, which is still bullshit as far as I'm concerned.
So lame. We've been told we're good to listen to when you want to learn things about stuff, and maybe you have a ghost story to share as well. So, get on those, type your little fingers away, and tell us that you've also seen a ghost.
We've had an experience. I had an experience. Yeah.
This podcast is not GPG or even PG-13 because we have said things like Virgin's Honey Pot already. And because who doesn't love a cheap fucking thrill every now and then, And that's what tonight is all about. Cheap fucking thrills with booze.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Yes. That's exactly what we're here about. Yes.
You can join us on our website, Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Amazon Music. You can like us, follow us, hit the bell, leave us a review. You can give us your feedback with questions and answers and polls. Or you can ask Alexa to play us, and she'll do it. She's got that Halloween spirit all year round.
Nice. I think you can tell your AI to play us or find us now, too. I think you can tell ChatGPT to find us and tell, or whatever. So I don't know. I haven't really looked yet. Even though I'm going to go ahead and make AI, I'm going to be a slave to it, just like everybody else. So there you go.
Yeah.
And don't forget, you guys, you can absolutely positively share the love for free. That's right. If you want to support us, you don't have to pay us a dime. All you got to do is like, follow, subscribe. Leave a review, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Put the word out to your friends and family so that they can like, follow, and review us as well. Share our podcast with the people you love or the people that you don't love. If we're annoying, let us annoy them for you. Let us do the work. We're heroes for you. Whatever you need. So there you go. All right.
Exactly.
All right. And let's talk about the smart, dumb, fun stuff that we did this week.
So on Friday, Duncan and I did a candlelight concert, and the feature was on Haunted Evening of Halloween Classics. And we had done this a few years before for Day of the Dead. And they pick a venue, they load it up with a bunch of battery-operated candles, and then turn out all the lights so it's all lit by candles. We were at the First Presbyterian Church in Ann Arbor, right next to campus. So it's a big, beautiful, old, Gothic-looking church. And so we were there, and they had a string quartet, and man, they are such marvelous musicians that it's just a treat to listen to whatever they do. I mean, they could have played commercial jingles for 90 minutes, and I would have been thrilled. But anyway, they played a bunch of haunted classics, which is fun. They played like some, contemporary things like they did a medley from Christmas, Halloween, Nightmare at Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
awesome.
And they did, they did like the Beetlejuice and Ghostbusters and Thriller. But then they also did some classics, which is the ones that I really loved because it really demonstrates how talented these people they are. So they did, Dance Macabre, and they did this one from this Russian composer that was it was written for a string quartet. So man, was it brilliant. And of course, you're in this beautiful place and it's all dim and candlelight. And it's only about an hour, just over an hour. And it's so wonderful. And I was like,
That's
all these
fun.
cool things. And I dressed up. If some people dressed up, but man, I dressed up. It's a reason to dress up, listen to fun music, and then, go to dinner afterwards in Ann Arbor. So it was just a really lovely evening. And then today we were back in Ann Arbor. And after lunch with some friends, I went to Crazy Wisdom, which is this new age bookstore. And Jenny, I got custom spells and recipes for Halloween. So this is my Halloween idea
This is
book
for next year.
And then I found
Yes,
this amazing book on Day of the Dead with
cool.
such gorgeous pictures. I almost didn't buy it because I'm like, oh, you don't need that book. It's just a big, but then I did anyway. I'm like, you're going to be mad if you don't. So that was fun too. So I'm all for Halloween music, and man, start planning for next year and bookstores. So that's my smart dumb fun this week.
Great. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's amazing. That sounds really fun. Joe and I did a couple of fun things this week. We'll start with the one last night. So my massage therapist, Quinn, of Embody Healing Collective, who is great, by the way. If you're looking for a massage therapist, check out Embody Healing Collective and Quinn Laird. She's great, but she's also an instructor. So she's a yoga instructor, and then she's also an aerial yoga instructor at this place called the Fly Fit, which is an aerial gym in the Kalamazoo area. And an aerial gym basically is where you learn how to do work on a trapeze or the fabric thing or the hoop or a pole, whatever it is you want to do, and it's how you improve strength and flexibility. And these women are fit core. Holy moly. So last night they had their annual showcase. And so they had 16 women that basically did a routine to a song. And it's what they've been working on for weeks, months, year. And these women were really, I mean, it was great because it was really, it was body positive. All shapes and sizes were there. All the skill levels, we saw people that were just kind of starting out, maybe a year or two, and you saw women there that were very experienced and very good at this. My favorite was one of the women that she worked on the pole, and she had the shoes that she was wearing while she was doing this were simply meant to be upside down. That's all I know. And she made it look what she was doing was incredibly difficult, and she made it look just effortless. So good on her. And then just again, a couple of the routines that we saw on the trapeze or the hoop that their women are doing the 6 or 8 feet off the ground. And again, a lot of these women were making this look really effortless when you know for a fact it is not effortless. The amount of strength and flexibility and, like you said, core that it takes to do that. It was really great, really impressive. And it was just a fun night out. It was a great, the venue maybe left a little bit to be desired, but that's not their normal venue. They used a place here in Kalamazoo. It just was a little bit small and weird, but that's okay. Mm-hmm. Everything else about it was really cool. And then we found ourselves on Thursday. Joe said, hey, there's a euchre tournament at Crafted Copper on Thursday. Let's go to this. And so kind of hemmed and hawed. I'm like, yeah, okay. We were both really tired. We're like, all right, let's go. And it was really fun, but I don't know if we were supposed to be there. So I didn't, here's the thing. I didn't really look at it at all. I didn't look at it till today when I was looking to put it into this. And it was put on by this group called Outfront Kalamazoo, which Outfront Kalamazoo is it's an advocate for the LGBTQA community. And the tournament was for those in that community. And I'm like, Joe and I commented that we thought maybe we were the only straight people there. And I think we were. And I'm like, I don't know if we were supposed to be there.
Well, Jenny, the good news is that you pass. So
I guess, but I'm just like, do we get to go? Because both Joe and I had a blast. It was so fun. And I'm like, I wonder if people were kind of mad that we were there. I don't know. Everybody was really nice and really fun. And I hope it was okay that we were there because we had so much fun.
Jenny, of course, because your support. Support is important.
Okay, so maybe I'm like, we're allies. Does that count? Because
yeah,
I really want to go again because I really enjoyed talking to everybody, and it was like a really non-judgy group of euchre players, which was great because sometimes you play euchre with people and they're like, you played the wrong card, or why did you do that? And they get on you. Or everybody was really nice about it. In fact, Joe ended up taking second. So I finished the middle of the pack, and I only made a couple of boo-boos, but I haven't played in a long time. But I didn't do a bad job. But It's like, I want to go back. I hope it's okay if we go back. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go back until somebody tells us that we're not welcome there.
Exactly.
Hmm?
Exactly.
I promise
Oh,
not
man.
to turn this into a straight event. I promise.
Promise. Then it wouldn't be as fun.
It wouldn't be as fun.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was just a really great time, and it's really great because out front Kalamazoo does some really cool stuff. It's like it's one of those things they have classes, they have crochet classes, they have knitting classes, they have fun events that they do, and I'm just like, "Okay, that sounds fun."
Mhm.
Yeah, everything they do sounds fun and cool. And yeah, so anyway, that was what we did this weekend. It was really great. Both events were super fun. So it was busy. I did not get nearly enough sleep this week because between this and the contract stuff I'm doing at school, I'm just like there was no sleep this week, and that's okay. I felt good about woke up this morning just feeling really good about my week, and it was fun. It was cool. So
Excellent.
yeah. Oh wait. Oh look. Nancy has something to say. She's got a story.
Hmm.
Okay. This is Nancy Garman. So Nancy, I'm going to give you first blood here on the on our ghost stories. He says we
Ooh,
took a
Henderson,
tour
Kansas.
in Mountain Home Cemetery by Henderson Castle, which, oh, that's a really great cemetery. It's
Hmm.
old, it's hilly, it's weird. Yeah, we took a tour in Mountain Home Cemetery by Henderson Castle, which was very historical and fun. Our 9-year-old autistic granddaughter was with us, and that made it very entertaining. And then, Nancy, you've given us the historic tours. That's great. Yeah, that cemetery is creepy in the daytime. I
Hmm.
actually like to walk over there. I don't live too far from there, so I will often walk over that way, and then I'll walk through the cemetery because it's super hilly and it's a cardio bonanza,
Hmm.
and it really is just a neat cemetery, old, creepy, weird. So yeah,
Hmm.
I love that. So thanks, Nancy. That's a great story. I love that. All right, Anne, shall
Hmm.
we a toast to the ghost story?
A toast to the ghost story. Toast. Cheers.
Is there anything you'd like to say about this toast to a ghost story before we get started?
No, just that I love a good ghost story. Um, and I'm looking forward to this.
Okay. All
This will
right,
be
let's do
fun.
it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
This. Okay, ready, set, go. All right,
Okay.
and you have number one. Let's do this.
Okay, so my first story is Michael Myers and the Fairy Queen, and I believe that this story should be served with with a rum punch made with Hawaiian punch, the punch that
That's
we,
correct.
what was the staple at all school parties, and so it's a really easy thing. You need light rum, Sprite, Hawaiian punch, pineapple juice. You serve it in a big bowl, drop a big piece of dry ice in there, let it all bubble up. It's a great, it's a great drunk for people who don't like booze.
So can I just say for a minute, Ann Brothers,
Mhm.
how one of my favorite things growing up is that you'd sit there, so everybody would have to bring their stuff in for the Halloween party in the morning
Mhm.
when you came in, right?
Right.
And so there they would be, the cans of Hawaiian Punch just lined up on the bookshelf, waiting
Waiting.
for that hour before the end of the school day when we could start putting on our costumes, and you could already hear the sound of that little hole punch going
Yeah.
into the can. And
Hmm.
those cans of punch, just you couldn't wait. And there they were all day, just taunting you. Those
Yeah.
big, beautiful blue cans of Hawaiian punch. Let's
Punch.
go.
And it's got to be red. I
So,
know that comes in green and blue
yes.
now, but damn, make it red. It's got to be red
It's
Hawaiian
not as
punch.
good. It's not as
Exactly.
good. And I'll tell you what, I used to use when I would take a test in college, I always had a can of Hawaiian punch with me when it was test day. I'm like, I would have a can of Hawaiian punch and I would sit down and I'd take my test, I'd crack that baby open, and it kept me calm, focused.
Exactly.
It was my whoopee, my test taking whoopee. So
You
anyway,
tested
I
for it.
interrupted you. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. So, Duncan and I live in the country. We do not get trick or treaters. So, the last couple of years, we have gone to our friends Tony and Jeannie's house. They live in Williamston. They live in a great neighborhood with lots of young families. They get a ton of trick or treaters. So, we've gone, I'd say, the last 3 or 4 years. But last year we went, and there was a man dressed up as Mike Myers, from the so he's got the scary mask on and the
Halloween, yeah.
yeah, he's got that one piece suit on. He's kind of just walking, and then we see him walk by, but there's no kids with him or anything. He's all by himself, and we just thought that was kind of funny, So we keep going, we're laughing, we're passing out candy, and about 20 minutes later, he walks in the other direction again by himself. Nobody's with him. And we're like, wouldn't it be funny if, he was actually, like a stalker or something? Laugh it off. More candy, more kids, we're eating too much candy. We're drinking. Third time, Jenny. Third time he walks and he stops at the corner opposite Tony and Jeannie's house and just stands there. And we're like, oh, that's weird. But again, we laugh it off. But 5 minutes, 10 minutes, he's still there. And we're starting to get a little, we're kind of freaking each other out. And just about this time, Tony and Duncan are talking about maybe they're going to go over there and just, say hi, see what's going on. And they're kind of psyching themselves up to do that. And then this little girl runs up. She's dressed up like a little, fairy queen, fairy princess. She runs up and she takes his hand and they walk off. And we're like, oh, okay. She's got her big Halloween head. So I'm like, okay, that's cute. And so we think nothing more of it the rest of the night. We order pizza. We watch Cabin in the Woods, so it was a good night. And a couple days later, Jeannie calls me and she's like, remember the Mike Myers guy? And we're like, yeah. With the little girl. And she's like, yeah. Well, I was like, oh God, did something happen to the little girl? And she's like, no, the little girl is fine. She's at school, but the guy was her stepdad and nobody's seen him since Halloween night.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I know.
Dude, chills, y'all. Chills.
Yeah.
What happened to him? Do we know?
Oh, Jenny, this is the story that Duncan and I made up. Do you like it?
I love it. I love it. I got to know more. Keep writing it.
But, in my idea, it's the little girl that killed him. That's why I think this should be served with children's Halloween punch.
Dude, it's like what's that one movie? It's the John Cusack movie where they have the hotel where everybody's trapped at the hotel.
Right.
It turns out the little kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of that movie,
Mhm.
but that's a great story. That's a great movie.
I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Wow,
that's
and Brothers. Well done.
Yes. Well done. Yes. Thank you. So, Jenny, what is your first story?
My first story is something called Janice and the Lady of the House. I'm Janice. Okay, so I'm going to tell my story first, and then I'm going to come back to the drink. Okay. Okay. So I moved out to Colorado kind of twice. I went out to do my field study in '94, and then I essentially stayed after that. And I lived with Phil and Carol, my aunt Carol and my uncle Phil, and they lived in a house, really nice big place out on in Surrey Ridge, which is just north of Castle Rock, just south of Denver. And this house was kind of in the middle of nowhere. And what I learned was that Phil and Carol bought this house in the late 80s, early 90s, and they bought it. Apparently, the people that had originally owned it didn't really ever get to live there because they finished the house and then things went bad with the economy and they lost the house. And then rumor has it that the wife, because this was her dream house, ended up killing herself in the basement, hanging herself because she was so distraught over losing the home, et cetera, et cetera. So Phil and Carol had mentioned that maybe there were some strange instances in the basement of that house. And so, you're always kind of like, that's cool. That's pretty cool. Okay, whatever, whatever. So I was living there with them and I was working at Kinko's in Golden. I was a shift supervisor. So I worked from like 2 p.m. to midnight. And then, so they had gone on a trip. I was there. So I was taking care of the dog. I think it was still Sadie at that point. So I was just kind of, I was basically house sitting and looking after the dog. And I had gotten home from, I don't know, it was just a regular shift night. It was like, I don't know, probably 1, 2 o'clock in the morning by the time I got home. And that morning I had gotten up. I was trying to find a job out in Colorado. So I had been down in Phil's office because he said I could use his office if I wanted to print resume. So I had been working on my resume that morning. And when I got done, I turned the lights off and I closed up the office and I went upstairs and went off to work. So that night I got home. One of the first things that was weird was that when I got home and parked the car, Sadie was sitting out on the front porch, and she never did that. She was always sound asleep by the time I got home. But not only was she sitting on the porch, but she was fully alert and not happy to see me. Like she was usually like would wag her little tail and like, "Oh, I'm so glad to see you." But she wasn't like that. She was like kind of timid and kind of like so anyway, I thought that was really weird. And when I opened the door, unlocked the house and opened the door, when you walk in, there's like the living room and you walk in and there's the TV room. And then around the corner is the stairs to the basement. And the stairs to the basement, the door was open, which I thought was weird because I'm like, I never left the door open. So then I n- noticed that the lights were on downstairs and I could hear music playing. And I was like, and this is the part in the movie where you get killed in the horror movie. Fortunately, Anne, not hot enough to get killed in the horror movie. So
Right.
this is the part where the people are like, don't you go down those stairs. Don't go down those stairs. Well, I did go down the stairs because I was super curious and so freaked out at this point because the lights were on in the house. All of the lights were on as well. And I'm not doing a very good job telling the story, but it was so freaky. So I go down in the basement and everything down there is lit up. The office is open and the stereo is blasting Take a Chance on Me by ABBA because that was what I was listening to. I was listening to ABBA Gold CD when I left. But like I said, I turned everything off. When I turned around, that basement was dark when I walked out of it to go to work. So something, and like I said, Sadie would not come in the house. So eventually I got her inside, but we both slept on the couch because we were both wigged. So, and that's not the only one. Mom had a similar story when she was living there. Same sort of thing. And Phil and Carol both said that they had some sort of experiences in that house as well. So all I know is that somebody was living in that house. Now I never felt threatened, but that doesn't mean that it's uncomfortable. It's not uncomfortable. It was super freaky and really discomfort. And that's the only experience in my life that I've really ever had like that. And I've always wanted to be a believer in ghost stories. I don't have another explanation for what went on there other than I think that there was something or someone living downstairs in that house. Yeah.
And
Anyway.
they liked ABBA, so.
And they liked ABBA. So what I did, Anna, is I created something called the Phantom Chance. Okay, see what I did there? And it's 2 ounces of gin, an ounce of the Saint Germain elderflower liqueur, 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice, simple syrup, club soda, and some sort of edible shimmery dust to make it look all ghost like. So yeah, that's a non bullshit, genuine. I had some sort of experience. I cannot explain it, and it was genuinely like you just felt like you were not alone. And the fact that what gets me is the dog. That dog was wigged. That dog knew something was going on down there, and that dog was like, "No, nope,
Not doing that."
not doing that." So yeah, something happened at that house in Surrey Ridge, and yeah. I didn't stay when I stayed with Phil and Carol. I actually didn't stay in the basement. Mom, when she was there with them, she stayed down in the basement, and she said it was completely freaky. So. Yeah, Heidi Gushwa is with us. Hi, Heidi Gushwa Sorkram. How are you? Yes, the animals do know things, and Sadie definitely knew something. And if I had any brains whatsoever, I would have not gone in there, but I did because I'm stupid.
Well,
and terribly curious. That's going to be the thing that gets me killed. My curiosity is absolutely going to be the death of me. So you heard it here first, okay?
There you go. Good job, Jenny
Can't
Brothers.
help it. My super curious mind. So, all right, Anne, tell us about the elevator.
Okay, so the elevator, the drink to serve with the elevator is actually the ghost story, which is a very similar drink to what you made, Jenny. This is 3 ounces of gin, a half an ounce of elderflower liqueur. St. George, I believe, is the most common form of this. A half an ounce of fresh lemon juice and Prosecco or champagne. You add the gin, elderflower liqueur, lemon juice into a shaker of ice. Shake it up so it gets nice and chilled. Pour it into your favorite glass. And then, top it off with Prosecco or champagne. I had Prosecco in the house, so that's what I used. I also added my own little scary thing, a little, little diamond spider, a little emerald spider to go with it, to give it that Halloween flair. Now, this is a story that I heard from Spooked, which is a podcast hosted by Glenn Washington. And it's all stories that people, the people that have experienced tell the story. So this one, I was driving home at night and this story came on, freaked me out. So I thought I would share it with everybody. So this takes place in Kentucky in 1980. And the storyteller, the man this happened to, was a police officer. So they're usually pretty no nonsense sort of people. Anyway, in the town where he worked, I would say it was probably a little bit bigger than Sturgis, probably about 20,000 people had lived in this community. And they had an old hospital that they had closed and it was being reconstructed into a high-end senior living community. But at the time, it was during the construction and there was no electricity and no water, no heat. It was just kind of a, they were doing the demolition on the inside, trying to keep the outside of the building intact while they did the demolition on the inside. So during the evenings, and this took place in the wintertime, near Christmas time, during the nights, to make sure that nobody came in and goofed around with the equipment or hurt themselves in this building that was under demolition, they had hired a security guard who had a Coleman lantern, gas lantern, a gas-fired space heater just to keep from freezing. And they had somebody there at night to kind of keep watch on the building. Well, the security guard would call the police 3 or 4 times a night, telling them that there was somebody upstairs in the building running around and laughing, and they needed to come and investigate it. So this police officer, Officer Wilson, would go out there, would talk to the security guard, calm the security guard down. They never heard anything. They'd hang out for a few minutes, not hear anything. And then they'd be like, all right, well, call us if you hear anything. Otherwise, we're out of here. And the security guard kept calling him. He's like, man, so they go out there and nothing happened. So one night, this went on for like a month. So one night they get a call. Security guards, again, come out, check. They go out and check. They hear nothing, like, call us if you, blah, blah, blah. 20 minutes later, they get a call. Only it's not from the security guard. It's from a neighbor in that neighborhood that says the security guard is in his car, hands on the steering wheel like this, like gripping the steering wheel in a death grip, not responding to anybody. So the police, Officer Wilson and his partner go out there, and sure enough, the security guard is ramrod straight in the car, doors locked, not responding. And they knock on the window, tap on the window with a nightstick. Finally, he's like, hey, need you to roll down your window. So the security guard rolls down his window a little bit and says, I'm not going back in there. You can't make me.
Wow.
So Officer Wilson, they got to get a hold of the company, the demolition company. They got, hey, your security guard's having a nervous breakdown. Somebody needs to come get him. You need to send another guy out here, taking care of this at 10 o'clock at night. So he's like, annoyed. Anyway, the security company sends somebody out to get him. They send another guy who's older. Officer Wilson is much happier with this. He's like, he's older, he's mature. He's not going to have the same problems he did with this kid. And the new security guard apologizes, like, hey, there's not going to be any problem. Goes into the building. Police officers leave. 40 minutes later, they get a call. He's like, security guard is like, I'm so sorry, but somebody's upstairs running around laughing. I need you to come out here. So Officer Wilson, he goes out by himself. The security guard says, hey, just hang out for 10 minutes. Have a cup of coffee. Just see what happens. So they hang out for like 20 minutes. And sure enough, somebody's upstairs running around laughing. And so the officer's like, fine. So they go over to the elevator. They take the elevator up to the 5th floor because they're going to start in the 5th, work their way down. Because he's just assuming it's some kid or something or a group of kids. So they go up to the 5th floor. The elevator opens on the 5th floor. Lights are on. And at the end of the room is this old woman. And she's in a hospital garb. She's got like the hospital, nightgown on and a blue hospital robe. And she's at the end of the room and she's laughing at them. And Officer Wilson's like, he thinks there's a nursing home half a block away that she's from the nursing home and she's going to hurt herself. She's wandered away. So he's like, ma'am, I need you to, I'm coming towards you. We need to leave. And she just kind of freezes, waits for him to come over. And then she puts her hand on his chest and just stares in his eyes and nothing. And then she takes her hand off his chest, starts laughing, and runs towards the exit and out the exit door. And Officer Wilson and the security guard are like, Officer Wilson, thinking, she's going to hurt herself. So he and the security guard march over to the exit. Officer Wilson opens the door, takes a step. The security guard grabs him by his gun belt, yanks him back because there isn't a stairwell anymore. It's been demolished.
Way.
So the officer thinks, oh God, the old lady's down there dead 5 stories in the basement. So they take the elevator down to the basement, and the place is a wreck. Chunks of cement from, the stairs being demolished. It's all dusty and dirty. It's just it's a demolition site down in the basement. And they're looking around. They got the big flashlights out. They're looking around, and none of the dust has been disturbed. And there's no body. So Officer Wilson, he calls calls the police station, get an ambulance out here. He calls for backup. He's looking with his flashlight to see if she got stuck on something on the way down. Nothing. She's not there. So the ambulance shows up. A bunch more police officers show up. The head police officer shows up. They're looking around. They call the nursing home. They don't have all the residents are accounted for. They're like, where did this woman come from? Where did she go? They search the whole area, can't find her. The only place left is the old morgue office. So there's a sign on the door, glass door, morgue. So the security guard, Officer Wilson, and the chief of police, they go into the morgue, look around, they think, nope, there's nobody in there. The only thing that's in there is an old freezer. And it's like a chest freezer because it wasn't a huge hospital. So they didn't have a big walk-in morgue freezer. So what they did was they would put a body down and then they'd put a shelf on top of it and then lay the next body down and put a shelf on. And you could stack 7 bodies in this freezer. So they're like, all right, who knows? So they're like, the only place they have to look is the freezer. So they open up the freezer lid and there's one of the trays on the top and it falls and crashes to the bottom of the freezer. And there at the bottom of the freezer is a body that they forgot to take when they left the hospital. And though the body's been there for months and is mummified, they can't tell if it's a man or a woman, but they can see the blue robe.
Shut up. No.
And the security guard sees this, passes out, hits his head on the freezer, and he's the one that ends up going to the hospital. So they have to contact, the coroner. Coroner comes in, so they got to take care of this. And the police chief is like, all right, go through the story with me again. And the police chief says, okay, wait a minute. What do you mean you took the elevator upstairs and the lights were on? There's no electricity in this building.
What? Oh, God, that's right.
So they go outside to check where all this is hooked up. It's not hooked up. It's all been, disconnected months ago. That's why the security guard is there with a Coleman lantern. There's no electricity. There's no heat. So they go over to the elevator.
How do they even take the elevator up? Because elevators need electricity too.
Right. They don't know, but Officer Wilson's like, we took the elevator up. So they go to the elevator. It's not working.
Fucking wow.
I know, right? And I was like, damn. Yeah, so.
Damn.
So, here's.
Chills, y'all. Chills.
Chills. Exactly. So, imagine listeing to that at night when you're driving in the dark. So.
Oh, no. No, thank you. Wow. That's a good one. Ooh.
I thought so too. And I was like, it was a police officer. This is the 80s. It was a police officer. Man, they are not, they should know. Yeah, exactly, Heidi. Freaky story. Yeah. I got chills. I'm like, that scared the heck out of me.
Damn. I don't have any stories that good. Holy hell.
It's not my story. Thank you, Officer Wilson.
God damn, that's great.
Ooh.
Yeah, I love stories like that. That's so great.
Me too.
Yeah, good job. So that's you said that's from the Spooked podcast, correct?
Spook podcast. So if you want to listen, they have like I think almost 10 seasons of stories, and they just do them basically from September to October. And you can, if you have a story, you can email them or call them, and they will talk to you, and you might get your story. You might get to tell your story on
Cool.
Spooked. So
my dancing my take a chance on me story. So
yeah, exactly.
There you go. Yeah. So awesome. All right, Anna. So I thought we would do one. Here we are in the great state of Michigan, as you know. Sorry, excuse me. Michigan has a lot of lighthouses, so I thought I would kind of talk a little bit about the South Manitou Island and its lighthouse, among other things. So apparently, I did not realize this, but South Manitou Island is a hotspot for ghost action. So were you aware of this?
I did not. I know I've been there before because there's a great shipwreck off the coast. So.
Yes. Yes. So anyway, apparently there is a layered history of ghostiness with South Manitou Island. Number one, the reasons why is because it's fairly isolated, it being several miles off of the lakeshore. I want to say it's 16 miles. So you have to take a ferry out there, which we have been out there, and it's cool. Don't get me wrong. There have been shipwrecks, drownings, lost residents, unknown skeletons, and a large array of people buried there, various illness victims buried on South Manitou Island. So there you go. All right. So let's talk about. So a lot of these stories come from the Island Archives and the National Park Service, because it's not that far from Sleeping Bear National Lakeshore. So there's some documenting, some write-ups. So let's go ahead and start with the lighthouse itself. So here we go. So number one. South Manitou Island is actually the site of a very large cholera mass graves. All right. So apparently there were several incidents where people were, they had a ship nearby that dropped a large number of cholera victims on the island. And in a rush to keep themselves alive and keep themselves from getting cholera, the ship, those that were sick, or they took the bodies from the ship and they buried them on the island. They took those that were sick also and buried them as well. Many of them buried alive because they didn't want to have to deal with the repercussions of that. So they just buried them alive. So,
damn.
Yes.
Brutal.
So that is one of the documented incidents of some of the brutal history of South Manitou Island. That's gross. All right, so apparently there was a human skeleton found in the dunes on the island in 1933. So somebody died there. No idea who it was or anything like that. But so there's bodies on the island. The lighthouse hauntings. So the South Manitou Island lighthouse has some documented hauntings. Let's see. Visitors report footsteps in the tower, slamming doors, and uneasy presence in the keeper's quarters. Reports are frequently tied back to the Sheridan drownings, which is one of the lighthouse keepers. His family drowned in a boat accident off the island. So, oh yeah. So apparently, it might be the Sheridan family. So there you go.
Jenny, we have to go back.
I've been wanting to go back for a while, and I would actually like to go back for an extended period of time. All right. So apparently, can you? I did not know that.
Yeah.
That might be fun. So apparently there is a lady on the beach that has been spotted. Various people tell of a woman in a dress carrying a lantern who walks the shoreline waiting for a lost lover or husband who has never returned. Sightings are anecdotal, but there's been more than one anecdote of that. So that's a thing. The boy and the shipwrecks, tales of a local boy who died exploring a shipwreck. Yes.
That shipwreck.
In fact, the Morzon, yep. And that if you go out to those boats, that you can hear a children's cries or children crying for help that can be heard near the shipwreck. Those are common. Apparently, again, several witnesses have claimed that they've heard something, a boy crying for help near the shipwreck.
Yeah.
Super creepy.
Yeah, because last time we went out there, Duncan was like, I could get out there with no problem. I'd be back in 20 minutes. I'm like, no, you can't. You can't go out there.
Well, and the danger of that is you don't know what the water's doing. The problem with, water might look calm on the top, but, you're dealing with a large body of water with all kinds of, currents and undercurrents and density differences and,
Yeah, I was gonna say that water was good enough to bring down a big ship. So why do you think you could do any better?
Yes. So what I did is I went ahead and I paired this the story of the Manitou Islands hauntings with what is called the Manitou Mist. It's basically an old fashioned, which is what I'm drinking right now. It's 2 ounces of bourbon or rye, a half ounce of maple syrup, 2 dashes of Angostura bitters. I actually like a little bit more because I like the bitter taste. A dash of smoked salt, and you garnish it with a orange peel that you have toasted using like one of those little toasters because it brings out the oils in it. So there you go. Stir, strain, or I prefer my stuff on the rocks. I think bourbon's better on the rocks, but I don't believe bourbon is meant to be drunk strained. I think it's meant to be drunk on the rocks, but that's just me.
You know, Jenny, you can get like big ice cube trays that are skulls, and you could use that as your big chunk of ice. So
that's what you should definitely do then. Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll treat myself to that for next Spooktoberfest for sure.
I think you should. I think you definitely should.
Heidi says she's not going to sleep tonight. Well, I get that.
I get that. I get that too. I'm giving myself the willies.
So I'm going to go back to your story. So that lady was running around because she wanted somebody to find her body.
Find her. Yeah, she needed somebody to find her. Yeah.
Totally. That poor kid. Everybody's thinking he's full of shit. And I'm like, yeah, I told you, dummies.
Yeah, exactly. You can't make me go back in there. It wasn't like the security guard's job either to like walk around. I mean, they weren't encouraged to walk. They're just there to observe and report. That was their job.
Report. Well, and I don't love being like, I was at, there was a couple times where I worked late at Goddard Middle School in Littleton. And I worked down kind of in the lower level of that. And I swear to God that lower level was haunted. I swear, I hated working there. I got to the point where I would not work after dark there because it just had this creepy, weird feeling. I don't know if it was haunted or not, but it just never felt right. It's kind of like how we felt at Eloise last week, where I'm like, this place is not right.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's like just the fact that it's such a, I don't know. You get places like that. That's that's how I also felt about the theater at Eastern.
Yeah, I did not. I never wanted to be there by myself. Never.
That place. And then I got a similar experience when I was visiting Joe in Maine.
Oh, Maine's
he was
all
working
haunted.
out in Maine. God, man, Maine is haunted as fuck. I went for a walk. So here we are in the kind of the middle of the nowhere. We're down here in the southern part of Maine, near Sweden, Maine, and Joe was working at this Camp Tapawingo, and I had gone for a walk. So I was there for a few days. So I'm like, I'm going to go for a walk and just kind of bum around a little bit. And that walk didn't last 30 minutes. I got out and I went down this one road, and it was, it was super isolated. And what was weird is that it was the middle of the day. I'm walking down this country road. It's super woodsy on one side and a little bit less woodsy. And there's a lake, or I guess pond as they call them out there, on my left. And I still felt like I was walking and it was the middle of the night. It was the weirdest sensation. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to the camp now because I don't think I like this.
Exactly.
I don't like this at all. I'm going to walk much faster. Maybe I'll run. Maybe I'll jog a little bit. Jog a little bit. Okay, I'm tired. I'll walk. Maybe I'll jog a little bit more. Yeah, I did not like that. Yeah. And I've learned to kind of trust my instincts. I'm a fairly instinctual person. And a lot of times I ignore my instincts because I think I'm being dumb. But in reality, I'm like, that's your little voice telling you to get the fuck going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All righty. So this is my final story, and I think this story should be paired with sangria. And sangria is a super easy thing to do. If you get sangria that tells you to add a bunch of booze to your red wine, then get rid of that recipe. It's cheap red wine and your choice of fruit, and you want to let it sit for about 24 hours. If you want to, you can also buy bottled sangria, and there's several very good bottled sangria, so you can do that as well, but add some more fruit to it. And may I suggest that you get some Halloween season spirit, like shaped ice cube trays, with like ghosts and bats and skulls and stuff, and put some extra fruit in those, and then some Sprite, and put that in the freezer, and then add that to your sangria when you're ready. So that's, it's just a fun, easygoing drink. And this fun, easygoing drink is dedicated to my Aunt Julie. So that's why I picked sangria.
Hey.
This story is about my Aunt Julie. And my Aunt Julie died in August of 2023. And she left me in charge of her estate. And I I've never done that before. And if you've never done it before, call me and I will tell you some things, because I didn't know where to start. And the good news was that she had an attorney, which was a big, big help for me, but I had no idea what to do. And her house was in Grand Rapids and I live on the other side of the state. So for almost 2 months, I spent all my extra time in Grand Rapids going through the house, finding all the documents I needed to find, taking care of her 2 kitties, going through, making sure I'm finding all the personal things that she had, making kind of an inventory of her estate, what was in the house, taking care of so many little things. And I spent the night there often. And this happened all through August, all through September, and part of October. So I spent a lot of time out there, and I never felt like the house was haunted. I always felt like I could feel my Aunt Julie there, because it was her house. Everything about it was her. And it was it was soothing to be there, to be in that house. Around her things. But the last day I spent the night there, everything was getting all wound up. I had finally gotten all the paperwork set. We had her celebration of life. We had the house was going up on the market. So this was the last time I was going to spend the night, just before the house went on the market. And whenever I spent the night, I always stayed in her bedroom. And it was the last, I didn't know it was going to be my last night there, but I knew it was one of the last nights. So it ended up being the last night I spent there. And I was in bed and I had already rehomed her cats. 2 of her friends had taken her cats. So her cats weren't there with me anymore. And I was kind of like, it was in the middle of the night. And I'd kind of woken up just a teeny bit because I had to go to the bathroom. And I was trying to decide in my half asleep, was I going to get up and go to the bathroom, or was I just going to sleep and then have to really go to the bathroom in the morning? But I hadn't really decided yet. So I'm kind of laying there, half in and half out of sleep. And all of a sudden I feel this pressure on me, a light pressure, and not just on part of me, but my entire body. I felt this pressure. And the pressure continued to increase. And you know how somebody would be laying across you, you feel it only on part of your body? Well, this was my entire body was feeling pressed into the mattress, and it wasn't aggressive. And I wasn't scared. I even asked myself, are you scared? And I'm like, no, I'm not scared. And I was like, because this is my Aunt Julie. My Aunt Julie is saying goodbye to me. She's telling me I did a good job, because I was worried the entire time that I was doing this wrong. And she's telling me I'm doing a good job. And that's what this is. And in a minute or two, it will lift. But for right now, this is your Aunt Julie and everything is okay. And then within a few moments, the pressure lifted slowly all at once across my entire body at the same time. And I was like, okay. And I went back to sleep, and I woke up the next morning and I'm making the bed and the sun is streaming through the windows. And I'm like, did that really happen to me? Because it seems so impossible in this sunny room in the morning that I had this experience. And I'm not a feeler, it's like, it has to be a really haunted place for me to say, okay, this place is haunted. But it wasn't, I thought, well, maybe it was a night terror, but my husband has experienced night terrors, and it was nothing like that. I didn't feel frozen. I didn't feel unsafe. I wasn't dreaming. I wasn't asleep. So that was my story. That was my Aunt Julie letting me know that everything was okay, that she was okay, that I was doing a good job. And she was a joyful person. And sangria is the type of drink you drink with friends because you're enjoying your time together, and it's not fussy and it's fun. It tastes good. It's fun. You can drink a lot without getting, and still enjoy yourself. Yeah, exactly. So that was for my Aunt Julie. That's my personal ghost story. So
I love that story.
Yeah.
Love that story.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And it turned out that I didn't spend the night there again. The house sold almost immediately, and I did not spend the night there again. And the next time I went, there was almost nothing left of her things. We'd had a estate sale, and then somebody came in and cleaned out the house. So there was only a few things left the next time I was there. So that was the last time that I was in her house when it was still hers.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, Aunt Julie. Good job, Aunt Brothers. Mm-hmm. You did a good job. Just so you know.
Okay. I did okay.
So.
I did okay.
You did great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I learned a lot.
Yeah, for real.
Mhm.
All right, so we got one more story. We're going on an hour, so I'll make this quick. All right. Uh, I went with Chicago's most haunted instead of Chicago's most wanted. See what I did there? Right.
Nice job.
Chicago's most haunted place is the Congress Plaza Hotel. So let me go ahead and throw that on the screen real quick. So the Congress Plaza Hotel is right there on Michigan Avenue. And it was, let me give you some quick facts about the hotel. It was built back in the 1800s, and it is considered the most haunted hotel in Chicago, and some consider it to be one of the most haunted hotels in the United States.
Ooh.
So there's lots of reasons why. There's a lot of Chicago was a violent place, as you might know. This hotel was actually built to service folks during the Columbian Exposition in, what was it, 1893.
Mhm.
And as a result of that, at that time, if you've ever read the book Ghost in the White City, you know that the homicide rate in Chicago at this time was high. I mean, you're talking almost 1,000 people a year were being murdered in Chicago. People talk about, oh, Chicago's such a violent place. I'm like, not really, not comparatively.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
this hotel has some of that history, but they think that some of the most the incidences of haunting for the Chicago Congress Plaza Hotel came after 1939. It was in 1939 that a woman by the name of Adela Langer, a Czech immigrant, a Jewish refugee, she had survived the Holocaust, or at least parts of the Holocaust when the Czech Republic was getting cleaned out. Um, so this is what happened. So she's staying at the Congress Plaza Hotel, and for reasons unknown, she killed her children. She killed her sons, Carl and Jan. She threw them out of the top story window. Um, yeah, so I think that was like the seventh or eighth story. She threw them out the window, killing them, and then shortly thereafter threw herself out with them. So they don't really know why she did it. Um, Needless to say, she was probably unhinged, but as a result of that, that's one of there's a room in the Congress Plaza Hotel that is especially haunted. That is room 441. It is considered it is the room that gets the fourth floor apparently is the haunted floor, and room 441 is the haunted room. It's the room that they get the most feedback on from guests. It's the floor that they get the most feedback on from guests. And this is in the south tower of the hotel, which apparently is the more active tower of the two as far as the hauntings go. So a lot of what they see people report seeing is they report seeing children in the hallways. They report seeing a woman in the hallway. They report closets opening and closing randomly, sinks turning on and off randomly in room 441. There is speculation that Stephen King stayed in room 441 and his story 1408 is
Mhm.
based on room 441. That's pure speculation. He's never claimed that that's
Mhm.
the truth or not. But it's well documented that this is one of the most haunted. And because Sam Adamsberger and I, we went to a ghost tour, and the ghost tour starts at the Congress Hotel, which is great. So they spend a decent amount of time talking you through what this hotel is like. So even now, years after all of these things have taken place, it's still very active. They still get all kinds of reports, calls nightly about things that are going on the fourth floor. So apparently, if you want to get haunted, go and stay on the fourth floor at the Congress Plaza Hotel. I myself personally, and it's an old timey classic hotel. It's one of
Mhm.
those Michigan Avenue hotels where the rooms are about as big as a matchbox,
Mhm.
and they all feel, a little dark and a little weird. So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I was like, we stayed in a place like that in San Francisco. It was like the room is like 3 inches larger than the bed.
Yes. So some physical interactions. People have reported being poked, kicked, objects moving on their own while people have slept in their room. Um, let's see. Yes, doors opening and closing, kicks on the mattress. Yeah. So, and again, this is almost a nightly occurrence at the
Mhm.
Congress Plaza Hotel. So the drink that I chose today was the 441, which is a smoky riff on the Negroni. It's sort of a gangster drink. So you've got an ounce of gin, an ounce of Campari, some dry vermouth if you're into that sort of thing, and a quarter
Mhm.
ounce of mezcal for some ghostly smoke.
Mm.
So there you go.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's my final one. And like I said, it's just a neat it's a neat old hotel. There's a bar down there so you can go hang out in the bar if you want to. And then like I said, they do have tours. Now they don't give tours of the hotel itself, so you can't go up on the fourth floor unless you choose to stay up there.
Yeah, I
But
was
they
gonna
rent
say.
the rooms up there and like you can get a fourth floor room if that's what you want. So
Mhm.
if you're into that sort of
I
thing.
kind of do,
So
but I don't.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hauntings freak me out, so I don't necessarily want to be around them. So,
Yeah,
there you
but I
go.
don't not want to be around them.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
Ann,
yeah.
tell us about this podcast.
So Spooked podcast by Glenn Washington. He also does. He has several other podcasts, but I love him because he's from Michigan and he was raised in a cult. So he's a Gen
That's
Gen
awesome.
X, yeah, and he's just got some great stories about being raised in different parts of Michigan and then having family in Detroit. And he's if you want some great podcasts, look into his podcast. So Spooked is the one I listened to in September and October because I love the scary stories.
Nice.
So it's just a great shout out to him. And now he lives in California, but man, it makes you listening to him. You're like, yeah, Michigan is haunted.
It is. There's actually a rich history. When I was looking for hauntings in Michigan, it was like there are a bunch. So,
A bunch, yeah.
yeah, a bunch. Yeah. So fear not. There's plenty of
Mhm.
hauntings here in Michigan for sure. All right, and brothers, that brings we are well over an hour. So thanks
It
for
was worth
sticking
it.
with us, everybody. Yeah, you have spent over an hour today learning
Mhm.
things about stuff from the Brothers Sisters. Today we told you ghost stories and we paired drinks with our ghost stories.
Mhm.
And you definitely brought your A game with your ghost stories. Dude, that one
Mhm.
dude.
Mhm. Yeah.
Good Lord. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, well done.
Mhm.
Yeah, so remember, you can support us for absolutely free. Like, subscribe, leave a review on, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, all the stuff, all the things. We would love to hear from you. Like
Mhm.
us, follow us, leave a review. Sharing is caring. Make sure you share our podcast with the people you love. You can tell the spooky ghost stories now.
Yes,
You're gonna be the number one hit at Halloween's bonfires and stuff like that. So
you totally are. Mhm.
there you go. We are taking a little break next week. Joe and I are going to be going up north for some birthday fun. So we are skipping next week. We'll be back in 2 weeks with November stuff.
We don't know what
There
that
you
is
go.
yet.
We don't. But don't worry. We'll get you. If you guys have ideas or stuff that you want us to talk about, let us know. We are happy to talk about stuff. If there's something interesting that you think we should be zoning in on or visiting,
Mhm.
we always love to hear from our people. And we've got some great ideas from you guys in the past. So keep up the good work. So there you go. Heidi, thanks. Happy birthday to you too, Heidi. I know you got a birthday coming up right after mine. So yes, there you go. 55. That's right. I'm a senior
Mhm.
citizen as of Thursday. Got to get those. I'm going to do some senior pictures up north this weekend. Senior pictures.
You got to find a fence to lean on, Jenny.
Well, I'm going to totally find a fence to lean on.
Mhm.
2 fences, one for each hand.
Exactly. Exactly. Got to sit on the beach.
Totally. Sit on the beach, looking
Mhm.
chubby. So there you go. Right on.
Look at the sun.
That is correct. Absolutely correct. Holy moly! You know what time it is, Ann? It's time for this. That's right. That's right. It's time for the awesome music. Woohoo! I think I'm absolutely doing that, Heidi. That's right. I am Janice Brothers. With me is my sister.
And brothers.
That's right. And we want you to get out there and do something smart, do something dumb, do something fun. We are out of here.